Hi, in this video, I am going to show how to solve a problem on rolling contact bearing in machine design. The problem statement is a single row deep groove ball bearing is used to support the lay shaft of a 4-speed automobile gearbox. It is subjected to the following loads in respective speed ratios. So here a table has been given. So in the table there are 4 gears and the axial load which is acting on the bearing in each gear is given. Similarly, the radial load which is acting on the bearing in each gear is also given, and the percentage time engagement is also given. The loads are given in terms of Newton, and this percentage time engagement is related to the speed of the shaft. The lay shaft is fixed to the engine shaft and rotates at 1750 rpm. So this is the speed of the shaft. So in that speed, the first gear engagement will be 1%. Similarly, the second gear engagement will be 3%. So like that, the percentage time engagement is given. The static and dynamic load carrying capacities of the bearings are 11,600 Newton and 17,600 Newton. The bearing is expected to be used for 4,000 hours in operation. Find out the reliability with which the life could be expected. Okay, so the life of the bearing is given, that is 4,000 hours, that is expected life, and we have to find out the reliability of the bearing under this operating condition. Okay, so with the help of PSD design data book, we are going to solve this problem, right? And come to the solution part. So in the problem statement, so we have this input data: speed of the shaft, static load carrying capacity C naught, dynamic load carrying capacity C, life of bearing LH equal to 4,000 hours. One more additional point is the life of the bearing is expressed in terms of hours or million revolutions. Okay, but in the problem statement, the life of the bearing is given in terms of hours. Okay, so as I said in the problem statement, the gear engagement percentage time engagement is given in terms of percentage for each gear, and we have to find out the fraction of speed for each and every gear. Okay, so first to find out the equivalent speed for each gear. N1 indicates the speed of the first gear, or we can say speed of the shaft in the first gear. Okay, so equal to 1% of the total speed, that is 1750 equal to 17.5 revolution. Similarly, in the second gear, the speed of the shaft will be, or the speed of the bearing will be 52.50 revolution. So in this way we have to find out the fractional speed in each gear. Finally, if you sum up all these fractional speed, you will get the total speed, that is 1750. Even you can check it, right? And then in the problem statement, the bearing is subjected to two kinds of loads. One is axial load and as well as radial load for each gear. Okay, here we have 4 gears. Similarly, we have 4 different values of axial as well as radial loads. We have to find out the equivalent load for each gear. Okay, first take the first gear. Now take the design data book, come to the page number 4.4. So this is PSD design data book, page number 4.4. So in this page you will be having a table like this. So in that table, in the first column you will be having type of bearing. In the second column you will be having bearing series, SKF bearing. So SKF is the bearing manufacturer. In the third column you will be having the ratio of FA by C naught. FA indicates axial load, C naught indicates static load carrying capacity. In the fourth column you will be having FA by FR ratio and X and Y. So X indicates the radial load factor, Y indicates the axial load factor. So in the fourth column you will be having a condition like FA by FR is less than or equal to E. In the fifth column you will be having the ratio of FA by FR which is greater than E, and in the sixth column you will be having the values of E. Okay, so we are going to find out some ratios and E value, and our ultimate aim is we have to select the load factors from this table, which means we have to select the values of X and Y, okay, with some conditions. We will see what it is. First, to find out the ratio of FA by FR. Okay, for first gear find out the value of FA by FR. Okay, come to the problem statement. The axial load FA equal to 3250 and the radial load will be 4000. Okay, we have to find out the ratio between this axial load to the radial load, which means 3250 divided by 4000. Okay, so FA by FR equal to 3250 divided by 4000, which is equal to 0.8125. Similarly, come to the data book. We have found the ratio of FA by FR, and again we have another one ratio, that is FA by C naught, right? Find out the ratio of FA by C naught equal to, the FA value will be 3250 and the C naught value, this is the static load carrying capacity of the bearing, that is 11,600, which is given in the problem statement. Okay, so by operating these two values we will get the ratio equal to 0.28. Okay, so far we have got two ratios. And come to the design data book. For deep groove ball bearing, I have the ratio values, standard values of FA by C naught, which varies from 0.025 to 0.5. Okay, but for our problem the FA by C naught value equal to 0.28. So that 0.28 lies between these two limits, that is 0.25 to 0.5. Okay, and we have to find out the value of E. So for 0.25 the corresponding E value will be 0.37. For 0.5 the corresponding E value will be 0.44. Okay, so our required E value must lie between these two limits, right? It may lies between 0.37 to 0.44. Okay, so come to the problem. So as we selected that, as we came to a conclusion that E value lies between 0.37 to 0.44, but the FA by FR value will be equal to 0.8125. So compare these two values. Okay, we can come to a conclusion that FA by FR ratio is greater than E value, because E value lies between 0.37 to 0.44, but FA by FR value is 0.8125. So FA by FR is greater than E. Okay, so this is the condition for the first gear. So FA by FR is greater than E, right? Okay, and come to the design data book. So here we have a column like FA by FR is greater than E. Okay, we are going to select the load factor in this column for the corresponding value of E. And for FA by C naught we have the value of 0.28. But in data book we have 0.25, we have 0.5, but we are not having 0.28. But that 0.28 lies between 0.25 to 0.5. Okay, come to the FA by FR column. So here, whatever the value of FA by C naught, the X value will be 0.56. Okay, so no problem. And for Y, we have the corresponding values of FA by C naught ratio. For FA by C naught 0.025, the Y value will be 2. Similarly, we have the ratio, I mean the values of FA by C naught, we have the values of Y factor, I mean axial load factor. So in this area, our values of FA by C naught lies. The corresponding value of Y we have to find out. So as I said earlier, our value lies between these two limits. Similarly, the value of Y lies between these two limits, which means the value of Y lies between 1.2 to 1.0. Right? Now we have to find out the Y value by using some simple interpolation. So by interpolation, we are going to find out the Y value. So this is the first gear. That is why I have used the subscript 1 here. Okay. So first put the value of lower limit. So I mean starting limit of Y, that is 1.2. Okay. So put 1.2. You see the flow of the Y values, the nature of the Y values. As the ratio of FA by C naught increases, the value of Y is getting decreased. Okay, that is why I have put minus symbol here. If the value of Y is in increasing order, then I have to substitute, I have to put plus symbol here. Okay, so the starting value will be 1.2. This is in decreasing order, that is why I have used negative symbol, I mean minus symbol here. And the limit, I mean our Y value lies between two limits, that is 1.2 to 1.0, and put those values 1.2 minus 1.0, and we have to substitute the limits of the factor FA by C naught. Here the limits of the factor FA by C naught, that is upper limit will be 0.5 and the lower limit will be 0.25. So substitute 0.5 minus 0.25 into, we have to find out the Y1 value for our data, that is 0.28, minus the lower limit, which is 0.25. Okay, so with this simple interpolation, we can able to find out the Y1 value exactly, that is 1.176. So as we expected that our Y value must lie between 1.2 to 1.0. So we have got 1.17. This is the correct answer. It lies between 1.2 to 1.0. Okay, so this is how you can cross check our answer. And as I said earlier, the x1 value will be constant for all the ratios, all the values of FA by C naught ratio, that is 0.56. Now come to the design data book, page number 4.2. So this is page number 4.2. Equivalent load. The formula will be P equal to X into FR plus Y into FA into S. P is the equivalent load, X is the radial load factor, FR is the radial load, Y is the axial load factor, FA is the axial load, S is the service factor. For service factor, we have the values here. Service factors for bearing carrying geared shaft. Okay, so here we have three types of loading condition application: rotary machine with no impact, reciprocating machine, machine with pronounced impact, hammer, mills, etc. For this application, particular application, we have the value of S, that is a service factor. In most of the problems, we are dealing with a machine with no impact. Okay, so that is why in most of the problems, most of the cases, we are going to select the S value will be 1.1 to 1.5. In some of the books, in some of the problems, this S value is assumed to be 1. Okay, so take this formula P equal to X into FR plus Y into FA into S. So P1 equal to, this 1 indicates the first gear, is X1 into FR1 plus Y1 into FA1 into S1. The S value will be 1.1, I have taken right from the data book, and substitute all the known values, and finally you will get the equivalent load in the first gear, that is 6666 68.2 Newton. Similar, in the same way, we have to find out the equivalent load for gear 2. For gear 2, first find out the FA by FR ratio, that is 0.182, and then find out the FA by C0 value, that is 0.0431. The value of FA by C0 of 0.431, come to Design Data Book page number 4.4. The value of FA by C0 equal to 0.0431, that lies between 0.04 to 0.07. Okay, the corresponding E value of 0.04 will be 0.24. For 0.07, the E value will be 0.27. So the E value lies between 0.24 to 0.27. Okay, and so already we found that FA by FR equal to 0.182, but E value lies between 0.24 to 0.27. So by comparing these two data, we come to a conclusion that FA by FR is less than E. Okay, so for the first gear, the FA by FR ratio is greater than E. For the second gear, the FA by FR value is less than E. Okay. Now come to the Design Data Book, same page 4.4. For FA by FR is less than or equal to E. Okay, we have the X value equal to 1, we have Y value equal to 0. Whatever the value of FA by C0, the value of X equal to 1, value of Y equal to 0, if FA by FR is less than or equal to E. For this problem, FA by FR is less than or equal to E. That is why X2 equal to 1 and Y2 will be 0. So as we did in the previous case for the first gear, we have used this formula. So this formula is meant for the second gear. Substitute all the known values and finally you will get P2 equal to 3025 Newton. This is how we have to proceed with for third gear. For third gear also you will be getting P3 equal to 3025 Newton. And for fourth gear, we don't want to find out the equivalent load, because come to the problem statement. For fourth gear, the axial load will be 0 and the radial load will be 0. Okay, so that's why P4 equal to 0. Now we have to find out the mean load, because we are having varying load as well as varying speed, and that is why we have to find out the mean load. So the formula for finding the cubic mean load is in the data book page number 4.2. So this is page number 4.2, cubic mean load. Fm equal to F1 cube into N1 plus F2 cube into N2, and it goes on divided by summation of N. So this formula, in this formula, the speed will be substituted in terms of revolution. If the speed is substituted in terms of, life is substituted in terms of hour or time, we have to use this formula. Okay, so but for our formula, our problem, the speed, the revolution, the speed will be given in terms of revolution, so we are going to use this formula. Okay, so take that formula, Fm equal to this formula, substitute all the equivalent loads. Okay, so this F1 which is equal to P1, which means equivalent load in the first gear, and N1 is the equivalent speed in the first gear. Okay, for fourth gear the equivalent load will be 0, so we can neglect this term also. And finally we will be getting the cubic mean load will be 1932.67 Newton. Okay, and the next step we have to find out the bearing life. Okay, as I said earlier, the bearing life is given in terms of hours. Life of bearing for 90% of the survival, L10 equal to C by P the whole power cube. Okay, so this formula is available in PSC Decision Data Book page number 4.2. So this formula, by rearranging this formula we will be getting a term like this. Substitute all the known values. C is the dynamic load carrying capacity, that is 17,600, and P is the cubic mean load, that is 1932.67, and this is the, this 3 will be in terms of a notation like B in the Decision Data Book, or a notation like K. So for ball bearing the value of K will be 3, right? In some books the K will be replaced by B. So by substituting all the values, the L10 equal to 755.2 million revolution. So it indicates 90% survival of the bearing, which means 10% of the bearing will be failed, but 90% of the bearing will be survived after 755.2 million revolution. Okay, and the required life of the bearing L equal to, so in the problem statement we are having the life of the bearing in terms of hours. We have to convert that hours into million revolution. So we have LH, that is 4,000 hours, and multiply this hour with the speed, that is 1750. The hour will be converted into minute, that is why we are going to multiply with the 60, and we have to divide the entire term by 10 power 6, that is million. So if we do so, we will be getting the value in terms of million revolution, that is 420 million revolution. Okay, this is the L is the required life of the bearing, and L10 is the life of bearing for 90% survival. And then we have to find out the reliability of bearing. So this formula is available in data book page number 4.2, the same page 4.2, probability of survival, that is the reliability. Okay, so L by L10 equal to ln of 1 by P divided by ln of 1 by P10, the whole power 1 by B. Okay, so now rearrange these terms. This 1 by B comes this side, in the LHS side, as a power of L by L10 equal to ln of 1 by P divided by ln of 1 by P naught. Substitute the known values. L equal to 420 million revolution, L10 equal to 755.2 million revolution, and for B, come to data book. For B, the median life, B value will be 1.17. Okay, we just take B value equal to 1.17 equal to ln of 1 by P divided by ln of 1 by 0.9. This P10 indicates the probability of survival of 90% of the bearing. Okay, so that 90% equal to 0.9. By calculating or manipulating all the values, we will be getting ln of 1 by P equal to 0.0529. Take the ln on both sides. We will have 1 by P equal to 1.054 and P equal to 0.948, that is equal to approximately 95%. So the reliability of the bearing under this operating condition equal to 95%. So this is how we have to find out the reliability of the bearing. with the help of PIC data book under this operating condition. Thank you.